Good evening and welcome everyone to yet another episode of Leadership Satsang. I'm your leadership coach, Yukti Kapoor Mehendiratta. Thank you so much for connecting with me yet again. So let me see who all are here live with me as we speak. I'm right now in Mumbai. That's my base camp. And the weather is getting slightly better. I love talking about it because I can't wait for rains to get started. And when they do, as much as traffic is crazy in Mumbai, but it just feels good when you look outside the window. And I love the rainy season for that reason. Oh, wow, it rhymes. So tell me, where are you? Which part of the world are you in? Where are you joining me from? Which city? Let's have a quick hi, hello in the chat box. Let's warm up the space so that we can bring in a little bit of a sensitive issue today. We're going to talk about blame game, and this is one of those things where nobody is right and nobody is wrong, and or if I shall say, everybody thinks they are right and everybody else is wrong. So how do we deal with these kind of situations is what I will talk about today. But before that, let me see how many of you have made time to join me live, because that's what excites me the most about these live sessions. Kunal from Bangalore, welcome Kunal, glad you're here. Amit Kumar, hi Amit, where are you joining us from? Sadhguru Prasad, pranam to you too. Ahmed from Ahmedabad, wonderful. Hi Ahmed, good to have you here. Superb, very big hi and a warm welcome to each and every person joining me here for a very relevant discussion in the space of leadership. So the reason why I picked this topic is because I got an email from someone saying that it's very difficult when you have conflicts, at workplace, and every time because of your position, you are blamed for things that you're not responsible for. How do I deal with this blame game? So when I read that question, I felt it is so relevant to so many people, to understand how to deal with these kind of situations. And if I could kind of extend that a little further to say that it's not always juniors who get the blame. Sometimes it's the senior people because they are holding those important leadership positions. If anything goes wrong, it's their fault. And at some point or another, you feel like it's not fair. I remember my sister's here, Mamta from US. Hi, Mamta. So glad you joined in. So, I don't know if she would agree, but let me tell you my truth. My part of the truth is that as the eldest among the siblings, we're three daughters to our parents. And I was the eldest. I am the eldest. And if anything would go wrong, or if my younger sisters would do something wrong, my parents would quickly grab me and say, you're responsible. In our absence, you have to make sure that everything is all right, and if something goes wrong, then it's your fault. If they do something wrong, they've learned from you. If they land up being in trouble, it's because of you. So I think I kind of got a taste of that, being blamed quite early on. And that's not just because my parents were working parents and I had to hold the fort, but I think that even among siblings we blame each other. Whether we are in, talking to our neighbors, we blame each other. I think blaming is something that we have experienced in multiple ways, for multiple reasons, in multiple situations. And the problem with this whole situation is that we feel if we have not initiated the blame game, then we are not at fault. Somebody else is blaming me, and I'm not just going to sit and take that. I'm going to talk for myself and stand up for myself, and I'm going to say, that's not my fault. And that's exactly what the other person is thinking as well. So before I even get into the whole, method and technique behind dealing with blame game, I'm curious to take your attention towards, why is it important for us to end the blame game? If you think you're so right, and so does the other person, by the way, right? The fight is never about anything other than proving yourself right. That's the whole conflict. About any and every conflict is about proving yourself right. Why is there a conflict at the first place? Is because I have a view and you have a counter view, and we both don't agree with each other because I think what I'm saying is right and you think what you are saying is right. So what is this? This is a conflict between two rights. And the whole deal is whether you will accept my right or compel me to accept yours. Blame game is another version of this two rights locking horns and one person waiting for the other to surrender. But the fact that we're talking about it and we want to stop it, we want to end it, how to end the blame game is the topic today. Let's know from you all, why do you want to end it? If you're so right, what are you going to lose if you don't end the blame game? So Mamta says blaming doesn't solve the issue in question. Absolutely right. So bang on. Blaming can go on forever. And there is no solution that comes out of it. Ever, ever. Wonderful. Any other reason why you would want to learn how to end the blame game? Hi Sanjay, glad you're here. Again, if I may say, thank you for joining every session. I pretty much look forward to these, regulars, so to say, regular leaders of my camp and of Leadership Satsang. Means a lot that you guys make time. Want to know from you, Sanjay, tell me, why would you want to end the blame game? We're here to learn how to do that, but let's see, what will you lose if you don't learn this? If you just allow this to go on forever? We lose peace of mind. Absolutely, Bharat. What else do we lose? Waste of precious time. Bang on. Absolutely. Wonderful answer. Namrata says, take up your responsibility to end it. Yeah, so that's a way to end it. And that's one of the 5 ways I'm going to talk to you about, Namrata. And in fact, that's the first and the most important thing to have in mind. But why should I end it? To move ahead towards progress. Very well said. Wonderful. Great. So we have some real good reasons to understand how to end the blame game, even if I haven't started it. Maybe somebody else has started this game with me, but you know what? I don't want to lose time. As someone said here, I want to move on towards progress. As Ahmed says, I will take responsibility, as Namrata has put it, right? And it's going to take us to no meaningful solution, as Mamta pointed out. And so it makes sense for us to find a solution rather than blame each other, as how Kunal puts it. And I agree. And Navinder says, because we should not overlook the bigger picture. I think that's what you meant, right? The bigger picture. Absolutely. Absolutely. So in the next 1 minute, I invite you to think about any situation that comes to your mind where you were stuck with a blame game. Think of anything recent that has happened or anything back in the past that you can revisit where you were actually a part of a blame game. It could be happening on emails, it could be in person, in a meeting, in a personal space, in a professional space. Let me highlight the fact that anything that we learn in the space of leadership has a direct positive impact on our personal lives. So never waste your time and effort in segregating or categorizing the learning that, okay, I am in a leadership session, so this is only about my professional growth. No, this is an opportunity for you to bring in growth in any and every aspect of life, including personal aspects. Because once you know what it takes to be a good leader, you will automatically become a much, much better person. And that's why I love this space of leadership. And the more I learn about it, the more I want to learn about it. And as much as I learn about it, I want to quickly share with people who are just as curious as I am and willing to learn and open to learn. So it's a never-ending journey, and it is a journey that takes you through every aspect of life. So please allow yourself to go to any personal fight that you've had recently where you were stuck or you locked horns with somebody from your family and it turned into a blame game, or in office with your boss, with your colleague, with your one down, some situation. If you've got it, if you've got that situation in your mind right now, I want you to say, got it, in the comments box. Just say, got it, and I'll know that you have a situation clear in your mind in front of you. And then let's put in the suggestions that I want to share with you to see if it'll help us to get out of this blame game. So if you've got it, say got it in the chat box. It could be something that's just happened recently or way back in your childhood, whatever you can recall. Any such situation from your own life, whether personal or professional, where you were a part of a blame game. Whether you started it or not doesn't matter, right? We always feel that, no, it's not me. And trust me, if I were to ask the other person, they would say exactly the same. It wasn't me, it was the other, it was you or whoever does. Right? So you've got it. You've got a situation. Wonderful. Got it. All right. Now, let's go through a few important aspects of blame game so that we understand the merit in learning how to end these blame games. All right. Time for the mind map. Let's start by understanding why should we end the blame game. Individuals who get stuck with blame game are the ones who lose their status. Now, by the way, this is what has been picked from not one but multiple research done in this space of blame game and accountability. What do we lose when we get stuck in blame game or do not take the accountability is losing the status that we hold. We learn less and we perform worse. Such individuals who do not take accountability and who get stuck with the blame game and do not know, or worse still, are not willing to end the blame game, are the ones who lose their status and respect, who learn lesser than other people, and who perform much worse than those who take the blame on themselves and learn to move on. What is it for the organization? Organizations that allow the culture of blame game are the ones that lack creativity and innovation. There is no learning culture in such organizations. They are unable to take risk productively. And that is what an organization looks like, which brings in or allows the culture of blaming other people. So, given that there is so much to lose, why is it that we're not able to stop blame game? You know it doesn't work. I know it doesn't work. Research proves it doesn't work. And yet we are stuck with it. We have been indulging in this all these years of our life. And hopefully that will stop now, soon after this session, right? But why have we been indulging in it so much? Well, it's not really your fault completely because blaming is contagious. It is. When you see somebody else blaming you or even somebody else, not even you, there is you and then there is this person one and a person two. And if they both are blaming each other, it is so contagious as a habit, as an attitude, that it starts rubbing on you. And before you know, you've indulged in it or you're soon about to. And then it just becomes the way you are, the way you deal with situations. So blaming is contagious. You pick it up from the environment. The second thing is what we call as a kick the dog phenomena. Kick the dog phenomena is that, if my boss is blaming me for everything wrong that my team has done, I'm going to blame the team. So if I get hit and I get kicked, I kick further. Right. So in an Indian soap opera standpoint, I'll say this is saas bhi kabhi bahu thi situation, right? कि भाई अभी हम सास बन गए हैं, जब हम बहू थे हमने सुनी, अब आपका सुनने का टाइम है. So you keep carrying forward this legacy of taking blames and passing blames. That okay, I had no say when my boss was blaming me. Now you have no say because I'm your boss. And finally, that day has come when I can blame other people. Let me tell you, as much as it sounds dramatic and it looks like an exaggerated version, it is not too far from reality. We just don't realize it. We don't realize how we start behaving in a way that we do not appreciate about other people. We don't like to see it in others, but we don't realize that we do exactly the same. So, like I've always said, no improvement is possible without acceptance. If we cannot accept how we are behaving, how we manage situations, what is the attitude that we bring to the table, there is no way in hell we can improve. You can go around the world and pick up all the relevant courses, books, etc., and nothing will change till such time you are in a state of denial. And what is denial? Oh, no, it's not me. I don't do it. It is this person and it is that person. It is this family member and it is that colleague. It's their problem. I am just here to confirm that what I do is right because, I always do right stuff. So I want to really highlight this and make it in bold in front of you that even if it's a situation, the one that you have in your mind right now, even in that situation, if you think that you were not at fault, it was completely the other person. See what is the attitude you could have brought in instead. What did you lose in the process of getting stuck and sucked into the blame game? And what could you have gained if you could end it faster? With that, let me share with you 5 practical ways to end the blame game, provided you are willing to do that. Now, see, the thing about improving anything or changing anything in life is that it all has to boil down to you. I often get this, comment from people in the room when we are into these leadership workshops, and I'm talking about how to be a better leader, which, like I said a while back, also means how to be a better person. People usually come back to me saying that, you know what, why does it always have to be me? Why shouldn't the other person learn all these things and do that? And why me all the time? And to which my simple answer is that because you are ready. You are ready to get yourself to the next level. You are ready to upgrade yourself to another level. You are equipped now mentally to bring in the right skills and the right tools to go above the situation. You see, if you want to deal with any situation effectively, it is impossible to do that till such time you're a part of the drama, part of the situation. To deal with the situation, you have to go above the situation. You have to go above the drama. And then you see that drama happening. Because if you are not able to do this, if you're not able to rise higher than the situation, then you're part of the drama. So you play your own script, and everybody else has their script as well. Are you understanding what I'm saying? So then you're stuck in the drama. You're just one of the many characters. And you could think you're a protagonist, but let me tell you, everybody else also thinks the same. If you need to deal with this, you need to learn to rise above the situation. And that comes with the willingness to be able to do that first. The how comes in later. The why has to be sorted out by you. Why should I bother? Why should I be the one? Because I'm ready. And maybe the other person is not. I'm ready in terms of maturity. I'm ready because I want to be a more evolved person, a better leader. And hence I want to learn how to do it. And it's all right that it's me. So with that said, and given that that is you, somebody who's willing to end the drama, here are my 5 suggestions that have worked beautifully for me and some 100,000 plus leaders that I have led so far through training, workshops, and coaching and various other interventions we do in the space of leadership. I'm sharing all of this to tell you that each one of these 5 will 100% work, but it will work for those who are willing to practice these 5 steps, 5 suggestions, right? So the first is be selfish and take responsibility. Why am I calling this as selfish? Is because it is selfish to focus on your own learning. And being selfish is not a bad thing. It's not a bad word. Being selfish means focusing on what really matters. And what matters is that in this very bad situation, there is an opportunity for me to learn. And I'm going to take the responsibility for my learning. And I'm going to end the blame game with that. I think you could have done a few things in a better way. You think that I totally messed up and goofed up, etc. I'm willing to take my part of the learning without you confirming that to me. Are you understanding what I'm saying? So I don't have to necessarily communicate that, acha bhai, ye problem hua, this was the situation, okay? This part of it is my fault, rest of it is your fault. That's not taking responsibility. When I'm talking about responsibility, I'm saying taking responsibility of the end result. The end result is what we did not deliver. That's the end result. And I'm taking responsibility. I could have done a few things better. And I'm going to go ahead with just that. And that's the selfish element I'm asking you to look at. Why? Because it is your own learning. This situation might not come in again, but the learning that it had for you is your learning forever. Right? So take responsibility because you want to learn. End the blame game because you want to grow. Simple as that. And if that is selfish, then selfish is a very good word. The second way to end the blame game is to be curious. Be curious and understand the other person's point of view instead of getting stuck in this self-righteous attitude. Let me say a little more on this. You see, human mind survives on being right. Did you know that? If we need anything more than food, air, and water, it is our need to be right. Whatever we say, whatever we do is in some way or another validating how right we are about it. And that is why we let go of the underlying love that we have in relationships. We let go of the respect that we are enjoying in relationships because nothing seems to be half as important as being able to prove ourselves right. So when you are stuck in this I am right mindset, the self-righteous attitude, is when I want you to ask yourself a question. Do I want to be right or do I want to be happy? If I want to be happy and if this relationship is important and if the end result is important, then let me see what is the other person's perspective. Let me give you an exaggerated example here. Here is somebody who's murdered somebody else. All right, we're talking about a murderer. Now, this murderer is thankfully behind the bars, and I'm saying thankful because I am judging this act as a wrong act. Killing somebody is a wrong thing to do. Would you agree? Is that a right thing to do or a wrong thing to do? Just give me a right or wrong in the comments. Do you think it's right? Can anything justify killing somebody? Is that a right thing or a wrong thing? Everyone wants to be right, and that's when it gets wrong. Yeah, exactly my point there. Perfect. Right? So, is killing somebody a wrong thing? Looks like it's a wrong thing to do. But the person who decided to still go ahead and kill somebody is very right in his or her mind. Would you agree to that? Yeah. I think that this was the right thing to do. That person didn't deserve to live, so I just murdered. And I'm okay with that because that is my right. And that is the extent to which sometimes we can go to just prove ourselves to be right. If not to others, to your own self, you want to prove that you're right. So remember that if you are a part of a blame game, it is because you have a perspective and the other person has their own perspective as well. So the point that I'm trying to bring to your attention here is bring in the curiosity to learn the other person's perspective. Where is this person coming from? What is their point of view? What is the reason for the disagreement? Instead of desperately pushing your point ahead, and that's when you will continue to blame, so will they, right? So take a deep breath, step back, and see what is the other perspective being presented on the table. And for that, you need to bring in the curiosity of a child who has no idea about anything or maybe everything, but is there willing to learn, absorbing the environment. Can you be there, willing to learn, absorbing the environment, and understanding the multiple perspectives before you judge them to be wrong and yours to be the only right version? The third way to end the blame game, and these two, by the way, are very powerful. Like if you look at them, each one has the power for you to get out of this drama and save your time and ensure growth. But if you feel that the other person is truly genuinely wrong, I mean, there are no two ways to look at it. If I see this situation, Yukti, if I share the details with you, you will also agree that there is just no other way. This person is clearly wrong. And here, there is no dispute about the fact that I am right, even if they don't accept it. In such situations, consider pointing out the doing and not the doer. What is going wrong and not who has done wrong? Because the moment you get to the who, you make it personal. And when you make it personal, you're attacking. And whenever you attack anybody, the other person will always defend. Correct? That's our instinct, our reflex to any attack. Anybody attacks you, immediately you will defend yourself physically, mentally, emotionally. So when you are pointing fingers at the person, calling the person wrong, is when that person will come to his or her defense. And that's where the blame game goes deeper. Right? So if you feel that here is a situation where there are no two ways to look at it, this person has done something wrong, focus on what was being done, the action, the situation, and not the person behind that situation who's caused the situation. So do not indulge in a personal attack by calling somebody wrong. You can call what has happened as a wrong thing to have happened, or there was a better way to do it, and stick to the situation and the situation only. Make sense? Does it make sense? Just let's have MS in the chat box if this is making sense so far. And then I have two more ways, very important thoughts that I want to park with you, which will help you to never, ever, ever waste your time with these blame games. Is it making sense so far, guys? Just give me one MS in the chat box. Super. Weber agrees. Thank you, Weber. Others, tell me if something is opening up in your mind. Are you aligned to what I'm sharing with you? These are some of the very important lessons I've gathered from my own life's experiences and that of my students and coaches and people I've worked closely with. And I'm telling you that each one of these are like super powerful ways to act as a leader. And situations actually give us the opportunity to practice leadership. Otherwise, it's also theoretical, isn't it? Like you can sit and read 20 thick books on leadership and assume that now you are a very good leader because there isn't a book that's talked about which you haven't read. There is no learning in that. Learning is in bringing that to life, right? If you take away one thing from this satsang today and you bring that one thing to life, that is real learning. Much, much better than reading 20 books on this topic. So let's see, what is that one thing you're going to take away after I share the last two with you? The fourth way to end the blame game is to be the change you want to see. I know it sounds like a very global statement, but there is no other way to say this. If you have reasons to crib and sulk about the culture of your organization or the environment being so toxic, please know that whether you like it or no, there is some level of contribution you have also made to that environment, to that culture. And if you've made a contribution that has given you a toxic environment or a negative result, then you also have the power to reverse that negative impact and bring in more positivity. Let the blame game stop with you. Let it end with you. And then that will become the contribution you will make towards the shift in the culture of your organization. And I know it will take a lot of patience, but then that's another quality of a leader, isn't it? We don't want overnight results. There is nothing called an overnight success anyway. We know that. So the fact that you're going to end the next blame game does not mean that the next day the same organization will become a great place to work. But for a fact, this organization has got a flavor of what positive impact can look like, what a leadership in action looks like. Because this is leadership in action. This is a leader who wants to add value to the system. And that's when the leader brings in the willingness to take accountability, take the responsibility, and end the blame game. Lastly, never, 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 never lose sight of the bigger picture. Ultimately, it's all about what are we trying to achieve. All of us leave our beautiful families behind, people we love the most, to come to work so that we can perform well. And that performance adds value, and that value is given back to me in some manner, whether salary or incentive or appreciation or recognition, and that helps me to grow and elevate my lifestyle and take my family along. That's the whole rut all about, isn't it? Now, when I'm doing so much and giving away so many hours of my life, especially at the peak time of our life when we are totally involved in growing our career, it just makes no sense to get stuck into these small, silly conflicts and fights and blames here and there and waste that precious time we could have constructively utilized to grow, right? And that's when I want you to come back to the bigger picture. What is it that we are trying to achieve? Why is there the situation? What can we do now that something has gone wrong with what we know and the time we have? How can this be corrected? How can we take it to the next level? How do we start the recovery process? So the focus is not on who, the focus is on what has gone wrong, and the next part of the discussion is how do we fix it? How do we fix it comes to your mind when you keep that bigger picture in front of your eyes all the time. And that is what helps you to cut short this drama, the blame game. So a quick summary of our discussion today. To end the blame game, you need to remember that we have to be selfish about our learning, and hence we should take responsibility of what has happened. Be curious and see the other person's perspective as much as you have yours, they have too. Third is to point out on the situation, on the doing and not the doer. Fourth is be the change you want to see in your environment, in your organization, in the culture of that organization. And lastly, never lose sight of the bigger picture, because that will be a great reminder for you to know what truly matters. With that, we conclude today's satsang. Thank you so much, Rupali, for asking that question on email. And I encourage and invite all of you to put out your questions, because you have no idea how much that question can open up for somebody else as we discuss it and go deeper and share some learning. It can help many, many other people who've probably not been able to articulate their questions. So keep your questions going. You know where to catch me. Yukti Talks is the handle on Insta. We're here connected on LinkedIn, of course. Also on YouTube, Yukti Mehendirata is my channel. So please do come visit and let me know of your feedback on many other bite-sized learnings that I keep floating around on multimedia. Thank you so much for making time to join me live here today. I will see you next Tuesday with another very, very relevant question that will open another set of learning for us all. Thank you so much. Please do share what have you taken away from today's Leadership Satsang. God bless you.